also do some hard candy mouth sounds. As you can tell, I've also got the new overhead set up here. I'm hoping this will be a nice kind of improvement and a better view of everything that I've got going on here on the mat. Yeah, I'm excited to start filming with this, so please let me know if you guys like this view better than the previous view I had where it was more kind of looking out this direction. I think the overhead is a lot nicer. But yeah, today will be the mouth sounds with the hard candy, and I'll just kind of whisper through solving some of these Murdles. I don't think I put one of these up for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, so yeah. Comment, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Let me know if you guys like these videos or these triggers. I'm also thinking about doing, I truly love the hard candy mouth sounds, and I'm thinking about doing kind of like a challenge style, ASMR hard candy review, and then like a battle of the hard candies kind of a thing. So let me know if that interests you, and if you guys have any hard candies you want me to add to the list to kind of make a bracket and do like a tournament style, if you will. So without further ado, let me jump into this and get a hard candy. Return of the coffee shop killer. Detective Logico told Inspector Aretino that he knew of a place where there were numerous occult phenomena, and he took him to a coffee shop. But the moment they got there, they found the barista was dead. The suspects, Sister Lapie, a nun who travels the world doing God's work on his dime. Her habit is cashmere, and her habit is spending. She's 5'2", right-handed, has light brown eyes, light brown hair, and she's a Cancer. Grandmaster Rose, a chess grandmaster who is always plotting his next move, like what kind of latte to get. 2.QH5. Oh, that must be a chess thing. I have no idea what that is, but I'm guessing that's some kind of chess placement or chess move on a board. Someone tell me in the comments if you know. He's 5'7", left-handed, dark brown eyes, dark brown hair, and he's a Scorpio. The last suspect is General Coffee, an espresso connoisseur who has murdered several people, but is still allowed to visit this coffee shop because of how well he tips. A lesson. 6 foot, right-handed, dark brown eyes, he's bald, and he's a Sagittarius. The location, the parking lot, which is outdoors. There's no drive-through because this is a fancy coffee shop. People have to get out of their cars to drink coffee. The bathroom, indoors. It's a coffee shop, so obviously it's going to have a bathroom. This one is always out of paper towels. The courtyard. Also, that is always the bane of my existence whenever you go to a public bathroom and they're out of paper towels. The courtyard. Outdoors. Sun-dappled tables and chairs sit beneath a magnificent oak. A great place for conversation. ... Or murder. The weapons. A butter knife. Lightweight. An embarrassing way to be killed, honestly. It's true. Could you imagine getting shanked by a butter knife? A metal straw. Lightweight. Better for the planet than a plastic straw, but more deadly. Also would be an embarrassing way to be killed. A boiling pot. Heavyweight. for murderers. That's called a double feature. Okay, so the suspect, we moved to the clues and evidence if you remember. So the suspect who tips well was sitting in the courtyard. So if we remember from the suspects, General Coffee is allowed to come to this coffee shop because we know he tips well. So we know he was the one in the courtyard. So we find General Coffee, and the location for the courtyard is here. So if General Coffee was in the courtyard, we put a circle. I put a circle just to mark, okay, that's where he was. So General Coffee was in the courtyard. He can't be in the other two locations. And that means that the other suspects can't be in the courtyard because as part of these riddles, we assume that only one person and one weapon can be in one place at one time. The tallest suspect was suspicious of the person who had the butter knife. Okay, so that tells us that the tallest suspect does not have the butter knife. It doesn't tell us who has the butter knife, but we know the tallest suspect was suspicious of whoever had the butter knife, so the tallest suspect did not have the butter knife. General Coffee was the tallest suspect, so we know he did not have the butter knife. We don't know who did. So, the way these riddles set up, if you remember, the murderer is lying. The others are telling the truth. So what we do here is we basically kind of test all these. So you want to assume two people are telling the truth and one person's lying. So whatever that lying person's saying, you want to assume the opposite. So I typically start by assuming, I go true, true, and then the last person's lying. If that doesn't work, I go true, lying, true. If that doesn't work, I go lying, true, true. So let's test these out. I'm going to assume Sister Lippy and Grandmaster Rose are telling the truth. So, and for these, so I remember, and I can erase later, I make the X's and O's a little bit smaller so I can go back and erase it easily. So Sister Lippy says Grandmaster Rose was not in the parking lot. Okay, so if we assume Grandmaster Rose, who is the Rose, was not in the parking lot. So this is the parking lot indicator. If he was not in the parking lot, then that must mean, because we know he wasn't in the courtyard from our earlier clues, we would assume that he was in the bathroom, which then means the last location for Sister Lippy would be in the parking lot. So now we have our locations with the suspects set. Oh, for this hypothesis, it may be wrong. Now Grandmaster Rose says a metal straw was in the bathroom. A metal straw was in the bathroom. So we'll go there with a circle, which means the metal straw couldn't have been in any other location. And the other weapons couldn't have been in the bathroom because the metal straw was there. Okay. General Coffee says, a butter knife was in the courtyard. So we have to assume the opposite of that because we're assuming he's lying. So that would mean a butter knife was not in the courtyard. So if we put butter knife and we find the courtyard and we say it was not in there with an X, that would mean the butter knife was in the parking lot, which means the parking lot, the coffee, the boiling pot of coffee could not have been there. So we put a little X and then a circle. So now if we try to add everything up here, we know Sister Lippy was in the parking lot. And we know, oh, let me go like this. So we know General Coffee did not have a butter knife. And we know General Coffee was in the courtyard. According to this, the butter knife was in. Okay. This could be valid. Parking lot, butter knife. Wait, sorry, I'm making sure I'm reading this right. I feel like we're missing information. Am I wrong? think I may have just gotten this right on the first hypothesis, and I'm unsure because it seemed too easy, like I'm missing something. But I think this is right. But I don't know which suspect had which weapon. Well, okay, sorry. I do. We know the coffee pot was in the courtyard. Sorry. Took me a minute to put that together. We knew we're assuming the location here for the coffee pot is the courtyard, so we can put a circle there, which would put an X there, an X here, and an X here. And then, yeah, I think this adds up. We know the toilet, the coffee straw was in the toilet, and we know Grandmaster Rose was in the bathroom too, so circle X, X. Yeah, I think we got this right. I think that was an easy one because our first hypothesis was correct, because this would show Sister LePee with a butter knife in the parking lot, Grandmaster Rose with the straw in the toilet, General Coffee with the boiling pot in the courtyard, So, I'm pretty sure we got this right. Let me do another hard candy. So, General Coffee, I believe, is the murderer because he was lying. So I'm going to say General Coffee with, funny enough, the boiling pot of coffee fitting General Coffee. I see what they did there. The boiling pot in the courtyard. Please excuse my terrible handwriting. So now we can check the back. Get some sounds. Page flipping sounds are always nice. So we go to the end. That was Murdle number 42, so it was General Coffee with the boiling pot in the courtyard. So there you go, we got it. We got lucky on that one because it was our first hypothesis of who was the liar, and we were right, so there you go. Let's do one more. The heinous crime of pinguicide. Deductive Logico found Inspector Irritino weeping, and he asked him what was wrong. An endangered penguin was killed, bawled the inspector. Logico grabbed his shoulder and said, "We're going to solve his murder." Suspects: Chancellor Tuscany. As the head of Deduction College, she is respected for her power, her knowledge, and the fact that she's never been caught. 5'5", left-handed, green eyes, gray hair, and she's a Libra. The Duchess of Vermilion, a tall old woman with tall old secrets. How many times am I going to tell you this? So this is just, they repeat and use the same characters, which is why they're saying, how many times am I going to tell you this? She's 5'9", left-handed, gray eyes, white hair, Pisces, MX Tangerine, proving that non-binary people can be murderers too. They are a scientist, skier, and suspect. 5'5", left-handed, hazel eyes, blonde hair, Pisces. Locations: the ping pong room, for letting off steam, or perhaps more aptly, for breaking the ice. There are snacks. frozen wastelands outdoors, a vast, unforgiving wilderness. But at least you can get some alone time. The barracks, indoors, where everybody sleeps under incredibly cozy blankets. Here are the weapons. Poisoned hot chocolate, lightweight, drink up, and it's the last warm tummy you'll ever have. An ice axe, that sounds brutal. Medium weight for climbing and killing, and anything else where you need to make a small hole. An icicle dagger, that'd be a tough way to go out. The perfect weapon, you stab someone and only leave a puddle behind. Okay, let's go to the clues and evidence. The suspect in the frozen wastelands had white hair. Well, we know the Duchess of Vermilion, she had white hair. So we know she was in the wastelands. So we'll put a big circle there. We'll X everything out. That rules out other locations that she couldn't have been, and the other spots that the other suspects couldn't have been. The scientist here suspect did not bring an icicle dagger. So MX Tangerine is the scientist's gear. They did not bring an icicle dagger, so MX Tangerine did not have an icicle dagger. So now again, and sorry, you can probably hear the pub snoring again. I do hope it's nice background noises. So I'm gonna do the same thing this time where I assume the last person's a liar. I doubt we'll get as lucky as we did on this last one, but we'll see what happens. So Chancellor Tuscany says, as the holder of 7 PhDs, let me just say, I was in the ping pong room, so we'll assume Chancellor Tuscany, she was in the ping pong room, so we're gonna do the small circle, which means we're an X there, and then an X here. So that means we have all the suspect locations at this point. The Duchess of Vermilion, do you want to know what I think? Chancellor Tuscany brought poisoned hot chocolate. So, Chancellor Tuscany brought poisoned hot chocolate. So that would mean, because we already have 2 X's here, that means the Duchess of Vermilion had to have been the one to bring the ice axe. So we put the circle there, X there. So now we have all our suspects with what weapons they brought. Now, let's see if this is the liar, and let's see if everything matches up. If I had to say something, an ice axe was in the barracks. So a Mexican train says an ice axe. Ice axe was in the barracks. So we know this is incorrect because, according to this, the Duchess of Vermilion had the ice axe, and she was also in the frozen wastelands. So if she had the ice axe in the frozen wastelands, the ice axe could not have been in the barracks. So we know this line of thinking is incorrect, so now we have to do it again. I'll erase everything, and now I'm going to assume that the Duchess is the one lying, so let me erase the small circles here. Try to do this in a way that doesn't shake the camera so much. Sorry for the noise here. Okay. Let's get one more hard candy in. Okay. I'm gonna assume Chancellor Tuscany is telling the truth again. Oh wait. I think I messed up. I assumed this was true. I didn't put the opposite. Yeah, I definitely messed that one up. Oh boy. Well, let's run it back real quick. I think this is circle X, 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 circle, X, circle, circle, X, X, circle. So let's put an X here. Okay. This line of thinking actually seems like it checks out again, but let's see. We're assuming that Chancellor had the coffee and the coffee was in the ping pong room. So we will put the coffee up here, right? The Chancellor had the not coffee, hot chocolate. Chancellor had hot chocolate. Hot chocolate was in the ping pong room, so that means the hot chocolate, ping pong room. Look at that circle there. I think we actually did it again. I think this set up again where it was truth, liar. Because look, everything lines up. Chancellor Tuscany, coffee or hot chocolate in the ping pong room. Duchess of Vermilion, Ice Axe, Frozen Wastelands, Ice Axe, Frozen Wastelands. MX Tangerine, Icicle Dagger, Barracks, Icicle Dagger, Barracks. Yep, so we got it right. I don't even think we need to check the back, but we will. MX Tangerine with the Icicle Dagger and the Barracks. Okay, let's check it. It was the Duchess of Vermilion with poisoned hot chocolate in the Frozen Wastelands. Wow. I don't know what I did here, but I think I definitely messed up. This is the first one I've ever done where I didn't do it right. I don't know where I went wrong. About poisoned hot chocolate. Did I mess up? I don't know where I messed this one up. Interesting. Well, I guess you can't win them all. I'll probably end up erasing this. Maybe we'll start another video at some point again doing this one. That's unfortunate. I don't know how I did that. I was in the ping pong room. This doesn't seem right. I feel like this is a typo. I could be wrong, but anyway, that's all the time for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the new setup. We'll come back to this one and maybe redo it. Anyway, I hope you got some good tingles, and as always, we'll see you again soon.